Welcome to AMMUN XX's closing ceremony. Everyone please stand for the national anthem. Your Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint Al-Hassan, Madam Secretary General, Deputy Secretary Generals, fellow Secretariat, respected AMMUN directors, esteemed board members, student officers, delegates, and the entirety of the AMMUN family. It's my honor to introduce this year's speaker, Her Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint Al-Hassan. Her Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint Al-Hassan is a leading advocate for science as a catalyst for change. She is a dedicated science enabler in the Arab world, where so many challenges urgently demand science-based solutions. The Princess has worked for almost 2 decades to help foster an environment for homegrown solutions to be found for pressing issues facing the region. Her Royal Highness was appointed as the UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador for Science for Peace in light of her commitment to the Arab world. In addition to this, Her Royal Highness is the President of the Royal Scientific Society, the Chair of the Princess Sumaya University for Technology, and the Vice Chair for the Jordan Museum. Her Royal Highness was appointed Chair of the Board of the Amman Baccalaureate School in August 2021. Preceding this, Her Royal Highness has joined the board in 2005 and had consistently been in the school's daily and strategic management, also serving as the head of the ABS Human Resources Subcommittee. In June 2017, the Director General of UNESCO appointed Her Royal Highness as UNESCO Special Envoy for Science for Peace. This unique honor recognizes Her Royal Highness's efforts to combine science and research with cultural heritage in order to foster peace, opportunity, and prosperity. Princess Sumaya was chair of World Science Forum in 2017, which was held in Jordan under the theme of Science for Peace, under the patronage of His Majesty King Abdullah II. Please enjoy a video prepared by Her Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint Al-Hassan.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على النبي العربي الهاشمي الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أيها الحفل. Dear Miss Basma, Principal of the Amman Baccalaureate School. Dear Miss Kathy, Head of School for the IB Diploma College. Honored delegates to the Amman Model United Nations, dear guests, dearest students, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Amman Baccalaureate School and welcome to Jordan. Whether you're with us virtually or in person, you enrich our gathering and you help to deepen the discussions that matter to the world and our future. Model United Nations is more than an exercise in diplomacy and debate. It is an education in togetherness and a lesson on understanding the other. And it enriches your own global understanding as you share and absorb the experiences and opinions of others. It is your immersion into the real-world challenges of a planet on which people do not live equal lives and where many are not so fortunate as to have a voice that is listened to. That is where the United Nations and its many institutions must engage so that our world becomes more just and more sustainable. Our AMMUN theme of accountability for stability is central to all that we stand for as supporters of our global multilateral system. It binds us all under a code of values that must govern organizations and individuals. First and foremost, it represents a shared system of standards for our behavior and a common understanding of our interdependence as human beings on a fragile planet. To be accountable is not to be weak or compromised. It is the basis of our strength as a human family with shared aspirations for peace, social justice, and sustainable progress. Being accountable makes us all stronger and safer. It supports our societies and ensures that opportunities are more evenly distributed. And I believe we should begin by committing to transparency as a fundamental pillar for everything we do in unity. Transparency is vital to a culture of accountability in which we are open, and we share the information that is essential for each of us to make the best choices and decisions. And we must emphasize that this culture of accountability is applicable at all levels, from the very top down, so that our world is a place that may respect the decision-making process that affects us all. But most of all, I want to celebrate today each and every one of you. You are the young women and men from our nation, from our region, and around the world that represent a movement of collaboration and engagement that we have been waiting for. Take it from someone who has the great pleasure of working daily with high school pupils, with university students, and with young researchers. You are talented young people who strive to build a better future in the most challenging of times. I believe that you represent a burning desire to make knowledge, accountability, compassion, and engagement central to our planet's development. You lead, and we should follow you, especially those young people who offer innovative thinking and a fresh approach to engaging with one another. We all need to change outdated ways and place knowledge, research, and innovative thinking at the heart of everything we do. We should listen to our youth because you are telling us what is wrong in our political, academic, and even social systems. I know that you can help us, lead us in establishing a responsive and a nurturing agenda that is an essential prerequisite to tearing down barriers within all our societies and establishing a meaningful and progressive knowledge economy. I have long believed that good science, thoughtful technology, and inspired innovation are the levelers that we need to make all of us more equal and more secure. These are the factors that will save our planet and stabilize our future. And equality and freedom of knowledge is what we need in our academic and innovative communities so that the best talent can shine. As champions of accountability in all aspects of public life and supporters of innovative independence, we must strongly reject the inequalities that are growing so rapidly around our world, so that young people may be encouraged to lead for equality. As our cherished youth, you know better than most that there can be nothing greater for us to fear as common citizens of our region and our world than the inevitable outcome of progress without knowledge, science, and innovation leading the way. I am supremely privileged to work in the Jordanian educational sector with many talented young people like you. I am so very aware that we must nurture our own young talent in order to identify and tackle the key factors that are driving change within our region and our world. For it is only by squarely facing up to our challenges and working towards sustainable solutions that we can maximize our own resources, both human and natural. To the young people here today, I say this: you are the leaders of tomorrow, and we must help you to lead as you deserve. The journey to stability and prosperity for our global family has barely begun, and there is much hard work ahead to ensure that opportunities are available for everyone. That is why we must all embrace and celebrate knowledge, science, and innovation. For good science offers the hope of enduring and productive social and financial rewards for all countries. Great challenges require great scientific cooperation, and that starts at the earliest possible stage in the lives of our young science students and young researchers. But as with diplomacy and international cooperation, science may only flourish through open dialogue, through the interaction of people and cultures, through the meeting of minds and the intersection of ideas. Indeed, science blossoms through diversity rooted in our values and our traditions. I sometimes feel that your generation is growing up in a time that is so full of bad news, filled with so many warnings of dangers in the present and the future. But the media perhaps does not focus enough on the amazing potential of human beings to do the right thing when called upon. And we sometimes forget the amazing potential of human ingenuity to overcome adversity and to combat challenges. I look at all of you and I see hope. I do see hope. I see possibilities and I see a way forward. Thank you for all your contributions and your commitment to making our world a better place. You are the hope that we need and the future that we all deserve. Before I finish this message, I just want to say how incredibly sad I am that I can't be with you this evening. I'm recording this now, today, on the 13th of November, because I know how long we have all been waiting for today to happen. I know how hard a very diligent group of people were working throughout the global pandemic, and I'm so sad that I can't be with you in person in a couple of hours, but that's why I insisted at least to record this message for you now. Let me start by welcoming and thanking the schools from Jordan which are with us: the International AMMUN Academy, King's Academy, the National Orthodox School, Schools First, Patriarch Theodorus, Asriya Schools, the Ahliya and Mutran, Collège de la Salle, the English Talent School, and AMMUN Academy. And from across the world, I would like to welcome for our schools of the Hariri High School in Lebanon, the Ramallah Friends School from Palestine, the ODTU GV High School from Turkey, Al Faris International School from Saudi Arabia, the American School of Kuwait, Bahrain Bayan School from Bahrain, La Jolla Country Day School from San Diego, and the Shiratsky Lyceum from Armenia. You are all so welcome, and it is such a blessing that after this pandemic that we have had the chance to finally come back together. And referring to the pandemic, as I said, there have been some people who deserve the deepest thanks. I'd like to start by welcoming and thanking our Director of Outreach, Mr. Majid Makhamre, for your leadership. And at the same time, I really think we have to give a standing ovation to this wonderful team. The Secretary General, Rena Debbas, the Deputy Secretary General, Karma Alul, the Deputy Secretary General, Jad Layous, Head of Training, Tara Tell, Head of Training, Ra'id Al-Alami. The Head Organizer, Farah Masaade, together with Head Organizer, Nadia Hamdan. The Rapporteur, Aoun Najdawi, and Rapporteur, Faris Al-Nabilsi. Guys, you've done an amazing job. I've seen how you've been running around school. I've seen how you have been so innovative, how you thought there wasn't going to be a place for us to host the meals, and how at the same time there was going to be all of the problems with the weather and the new building interventions that we're doing at the school. And you have been so fantastic in the way you've just taken everything in your stride. This is truly a student-led conference, and you have made us proud. You've made Amman Baccalaureate School proud, but you've also made the Model UN family and, of course, the whole of Jordan proud today. Thank you. I'm sorry I can't be there, particularly as today marks the 20th anniversary of the launching of the Model United Nations at the Amman Baccalaureate School. But I know that you have a treat waiting for you, and that is to hear from the original organizers as well. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to the audience. Thank you to those members of the board who are with us today. And I wish you all every success. God bless and Godspeed. Allah ma'akum.
We'd like to send our sincere gratitude to Her Royal Highness for this video. Now please enjoy the AMMUN XX closing video prepared by AMMUN Media Team.
I'm better, so much better now. I see the light, touch the light, we're together now. I'm better, so much better now. Look to the skies, give me life, we're together now. We've only just begun, hypnotized by drums until forever comes. You'll find us chasing the sun. They said this day wouldn't come and we refuse to run. We've only just begun. You'll find us chasing the sun. You'll find us chasing the sun. Chasing the daylight's fading. We're gonna play in the dark till it's golden again. And now it feels so amazing. Can't see it coming and we'll never grow old again. You'll find us chasing the sun. I'm never down. Lying here staring up and you're looking down. I'm never down. Live forever, forever with you around. We've only just begun, hypnotized by drums until forever comes. You'll find us chasing the sun. They said this day wouldn't come, we refuse to run. We've only just begun. You'll find us chasing the sun, the sun, the sun, the sun, the sun, the sun. You'll find us chasing the sun. You'll find us chasing the sun. You'll find us chasing the daylight's fading. We're gonna play in the dark till it's golden again. And now it feels so amazing. Can see it coming and we'll never.
Now, to our MUN Director, Mr. Majid Makhamri, please accept this token of appreciation from the leadership team. In honor of this being our 20th annual conference, please join me in welcoming the founders of AMMUN, Luma Khaddoumi and Hashim Dabbas.
Hi, my name is Luma Qaddoumi.
Hi, I'm Hashim Dabbas, and we're the co-founders of the AMMUN Model United Nations Conference. About 21 years ago or so, Luma and I and a bunch of other students went to Thyman in The Hague and came back with the dream of trying to put Jordan on the global Model United Nations map. And with the help of a lot of different people, we were able to start the Amman Model United Nations Conference 20 years ago. It really is humbling to see that it's still an important part of the baccalaureate school tradition and really has become a regional and global conference actually that people attend. We're very proud to see the number of international schools that are participating in the Amman Model United Nations Conference, and equally as importantly, to see the number of schools in Jordan that have taken up AMMUN as an activity and as part of the curriculum that students take in Jordan.
Without the help and support of our school, the conference would not have come together. So we're very proud of our school, of the staff and the students that put a lot of hard work and dedication into making AMMUN continue to go strong. Find your passion, find your cause, and make your voices heard. To be silent is to condone. So as cliche as this may sound, the world needs you, the region needs you, so fight for what you believe in. And congratulations on 20 years. We're very, very proud, and thank you for letting us be part of this.
We would now like to present a token of our appreciation to all of our sponsors this year. Once I call out your name, please have a representative join us on stage. Firstly, Biolab. Now, Rohi Pharmacy. Abu Khadir Automotive. بنك الاتحاد. Gerard Ice Cream. The Sibes Company. Now, please join me in welcoming our student officers, starting with the President of the Economic and Social Council, Samantha Burqan.
Your Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint al-Hassan, Madam Secretary General, Deputy Secretary Generals, ABS Leadership Team, my fellow student officers, esteemed guests, and of course, honorable delegates. My name is Samantha Burqan, and this year I was given the title of the Economic and Social Council. This, unfortunately, will be my last AMMUN conference. While the days leading up to the conference felt like they were moving in slow motion, somehow the past 3 days have moved by so quickly. However, I'm so unbelievably lucky for the opportunity I was given to be a part of this conference. From the delegate of UK's gracious donations of his charger to the chairing panel, thank you. to the delegate of Japan's excitement for debate. The delegates of the ECOSOC Forum made this opportunity so unbelievably special to me. And yet, there was no way things would have went nearly as well without my Deputy President Muhammad and my Chair Serena. Without your support and collaboration, I don't know if I would have enjoyed this experience as much as I did, and I thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys had a great conference.
And now, the President of General Assembly 3, AMMUN.
Her Royal Highness Princess Sumaya, Madam Secretary General, Deputy Secretary Generals, ABS leadership, my fellow student officers, esteemed guests, and honorable delegates. I'm Aya Ramesh, and this year I was given the incredible opportunity to preside over the 3rd General Assembly. This year's AMMUN conference was a roller coaster, to say the least. When I was told that half my forum would be online, all I remember thinking was how. How would I be able to keep up with 35 delegates, half of whom wouldn't even be here? An amazing chair and deputy, that's how. Their patience, effort, and cooperation these past 3 days have played an enormous part in the success of my forum and this conference as a whole. I'm fully confident when I say that I wouldn't have ever been able to do what I did without you. Before I move on, I'd like to give a very special thanks to my chair, Ala Arafeh. One of the things we can always go back and laugh at is the number of times we had to re-explain the structure of a resolution. I think we're both experts now, and by now I really hope our delegates are too. And of course, nothing would have been possible without the incredible leadership team. Despite the challenges we faced by the first hybrid AMMUN, believe me when I tell you it was all worth it. Your hard work will always be appreciated. And now, I say my most sincere goodbyes to the 3rd General Assembly. It really grew on me. Thank you.
And now, the President of the Institutional Corruption Panel, Hayyan Nasser.
Your Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint Hassan, Madam Secretary General, Deputy Secretary Generals, leadership team, fellow student officers, guests, and of course, delegates. My name is Hayyan Nasser, and this year I have been given the privilege to preside over the Institutional Corruption Panel at this year's AMMUN XX conference. This is the first time the ICP is a forum at the AMMUN. We debated the topic of corruption in Lebanon from a social, humanitarian, and economic aspect. So, I think you can only imagine the challenges that have come my way. But I wouldn't have been able to overcome them without the help of my Deputy President, Chair, and admin staff, Evin, Hala, and Layan. Thank you all for your hard work. Of course, the conference wouldn't have been possible without the delegates. In the short amount of time we've spent together, I was able to watch you engage in heated debates and pass many resolutions, and for that, I'm grateful and appreciative for you all. And lastly, thank you to the leadership team and Ustaz Majid for your continuous support this entire time. It definitely wasn't an easy journey, but we got through this together as a team. And thank you all for the success that this conference was. And now, my words for the next president of the ICP. Trust me, you'll enjoy it. Thank you.
And now, the President of the Arab League, Makram al-Jamal.
سيدتي صاحبة السمو الملكي، السكرتارية الكرام، السادة الرؤساء، المندوبين المحترمين، الضيوف الأعزاء، أكلمكم أنا مكرم الجمل، رئيس جامعة الدول العربية في نموذج مؤتمر الأمم المتحدة المنعقد في مدرسة البكالوريا عمان. ونتعامل نحن في جامعة الدول العربية مع المشاكل التي يعاني منها العالم العربي اليوم، حيث تناولنا في هذا العام 3 قضايا مهمة جدا، وهي مشكلة نقص المياه في بلاد الشام، والصراع الإيراني السعودي، والمشكلة الاقتصادية في اليمن. وبسبب الجائحة كان عدد المندوبين وبسبب الجائحة كان عدد المندوبين في جامعة الدول العربية هذا العام قليل، إلا أنهم بذلوا جهدا كبيرا بمشاركتهم، والتي ساهمت في إنشاء نقاش بناء بين الأطراف المختلفة في كل قضية. وقد تواجد معنا في اللجنة مندوبين شاركونا التجربة شخصيا، وكذلك من شارك معنا من دول أخرى كفلسطين ولبنان والسعودية عن بعد بسبب الجائحة، إلا أنهم كانوا حاضرين معنا بمشاركتهم وبجهودهم المستمرة. وفي ملاحظة أخرى أود باسمكم أن أوجه الشكر لنائبي سند هادي الذي كان له دور كبير في جعل هذه التجربة ناجحة وممتعة ومفيدة لنا، وما كنت لأستطيع خوض هذه التجربة من غيره. كما أود أن أوجه شكري للمقرر فارس النابلسي الذي كان له دور كبير في مساعدتنا، واستطاع أن يتعامل مع جميع الصعوبات التي واجهتنا في اللجنة بكل كفاءة. وأنتهز الفرصة أيضا لشكر فريق القيادة كاملا على جهودهم العظيمة في تنسيق هذا المؤتمر وفي ظل هذه الظروف الصعبة. وكان لي الشرف شخصيا بالمشاركة في هذا المؤتمر المحترم، واستخدام لغتنا الأم لغة الضاد والخوض ببحار بلاغتها وعظمتها. كذلك كان لي الشرف بمشاركة هذه التجربة مع المندوبين المميزين، وأتمنى أن تكونوا قد استمتعتم بهذه التجربة الأولى من نوعها في هذا المجال. أشكركم جميعا، دمتم سالمين، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
And now the President of the Disarmament Commission, Nicole Abu Khadr.
Your Royal Highness Princess Sumaya, Madam Secretary General, leadership team, esteemed guests, fellow staffers, and of course, honorable delegates. My name is Nicole Abu Khadr, and this year I had the prestigious opportunity to preside over the Disarmament Commission. My experience at this year's AMMUN was a whirlwind of emotions. The last time I stood on a podium like this, I was a delegate made submitting a resolution in DC. Now, here I am, standing on the podium as the President of DC to give my closing speech. During this conference, I met some of the most outstanding delegates. We definitely had some memorable moments, like suing the IB curriculum, UK's sassy remarks, and Central African Republic's vendetta against Nigeria. Nonetheless, I can't continue the speech without thanking my amazing chairing panel and amazing security Karim. Hala, thank you for being bright and optimistic. Sarah, thank you for sitting by me 24/7, being enthusiastic as ever. I truly couldn't have done this without you. And of course, thank you to everyone who made this conference possible, from the Secretary General to my supervisor Tara. We began AMMUN XX online, and now we have a show-stopping hybrid conference. Thank you.
And now the President of the Security Council, Rayyan Kiswani.
Your Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint al-Hassan, Madam Secretary General, Deputy Secretary Generals, esteemed guests, and fellow delegates. My name is Rayyan Kiswani, and this year I had the honor in presiding over the Security Council in AMMUN XX. Firstly, I would like to thank my Deputy President and Chair, Zaid al-Assas and Yusuf Abbasi, for always being by my side, and without a doubt, changing the nature of this forum and making it so much better. For the delegates of the Security Council, I would like to sincerely thank you for this amazing experience. I'm so proud to have been the president of 13 incredibly bright minds. On Thursday, at the opening ceremony, we determined that we are here to plan tomorrow's world, that we are inventing ourselves as well as our world. So we've filled our clauses with our plans for tomorrow. And we've expressed what we want to see in the world. One thing is clear, and I think that we found that out over the last 3 days of this conference, and that is that this world needs change. So in the famous words of Gandhi, let's be the change that we want to see in the world. Well, during this conference, you delegates articulated the changes you want to see in this world through drafting resolutions and discussing them with passion. Now, when you return from this conference, I want you delegates to incarnate that change. All in all, what an amazing conference. Thank you very much.
And now, the President of the Environmental Commission, Jana Dekadik.
Her Royal Highness Princess Sumaya, Madam Secretary General, Deputy Secretary Generals, AMMUN leadership, student officers, guests, and most importantly, delegates. Hello, my name is Jana Dekadik, and for this year's AMMUN conference, I was given the honor to preside over the Environmental Commission. While each and every form is special in AMMUN, in its own way, the Environmental Commission in particular is special for building environmental consciousness with discussions of heated topics occurring in the world today. Delegates of the Environmental Commission, I am very proud of all of your contributions during these past few days. Although it was a hybrid conference, I realized that you delegates never lost the perseverance to keep going, use your voices, and fight the good fight. Delegates, all of us have continuously heard the phrase, "You are the leaders of tomorrow." However, within the past 3 days, I have concluded that we are actually the leaders of today and tomorrow. We lead today and we continue the legacy tomorrow. This speech wouldn't be complete without thanking my deputy, Ibrahim, and my chair, Farah. Here's to the many hours we spent trying to solve every minor inconvenience we faced. Regardless of the challenges that came our way, I can proudly say that we all handled them to the best of our ability. Honestly, we make a great team. To my admin Yasmin, thank you for always putting maximum efforts into keeping everything in check. And now, saving the best for last, leadership. Thank you for putting up with our endless problems. The Environmental Commission wouldn't have been nearly as successful without your continuous support and help. This wouldn't have been possible without the hard work each and every one of you put into the conference. Good luck to the future President of EC, current President signing off. Thank you.
And now the President of the Advisory Panel, Ali Alwir.
Your Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint al-Hassan, Madam Secretary General, Deputy Secretary Generals, esteemed guests, student officers, organizers, and of course, most importantly, delegates. My name is Ali Alwir, and I'm the President of the Advisory Panel. What makes a good forum in MUN is something people ask themselves all the time. Personally, I believe it's the perfect combination of a cooperative chairing panel, a determined leadership team, a fascinating topic, and excited, knowledgeable delegates. Luckily for the advisory panel, we were able to achieve this perfect combination. My amazing deputy and chair, Mira and Leia, were able to figure out a way to chair online and in person and help me lead amazing debate. Truly, I don't think anyone understands Teams, Padlet, and how to use the mic better than you two. Thank you. As for my delegates, they were able to write some of the most creative clauses I've ever seen. With every passing minute, I saw new, interesting points being brought up that I would have never even considered. All of my delegates, you were all amazing. All in all, thank you so much for your phenomenal work. With that, I know you're wondering what the fate of your resolution is. And with that, I'm so excited to announce that it passed. Congratulations to each and every one of you. And as my final conference comes to an end, as well as my third experience in the advisory panel, I'm sad to say goodbye to AMMUN. the conference that introduced me to AMMUN. But I'm incredibly optimistic that the amazing delegates and student officers will help carry on the legacy of AMMUN and the advisory panel. Thank you all so much.
And now the President of the Human Rights Commission, Muntasir Matarni.
Your Royal Highness Princess Sumaya, Madam Secretary General, Deputy Secretary Generals, ABS Leadership Team, esteemed guests, fellow student officers, and last but not least, honorable delegates. Hi, my name is Muntasir Matarni, and I had the opportunity to be the President of the Human Rights Commission this year. Over the course of the past 2 months, I have worked together with other staffers and the leadership team preparing for this conference. Now that this conference has passed, I'm sad but sort of glad it's over. It's been a hectic journey. When I found out that the conference was going to be hybrid, I was confused on how it would work. However, seeing how hard the leadership team worked to solve problems and plan a successful hybrid conference reassured me. I want to take this moment to thank them for their hard work. Oh, and I want to apologize for driving them crazy sometimes. But seriously, thank you for making this conference the success it was. And I want to give a big thank you to my chair, Layla Tabar, for being by my side since day one, for helping me in training ABS delegates to correcting resolutions. I think it is safe to say that I could not have done this without you. And thank you to my admin staff, Aya Hamouri, for being the best admin there is. Finally, I want to thank my delegates for coming into this conference with an open mind and the eagerness to debate. We have passed 11 resolutions with countless amendments and heated debates. My delegates really showed what they are capable of, and I'm so proud of what we accomplished together. Lastly, HRC is going to have a special place in my heart. It was the very first forum I was in during my very first conference, and now I'm saying goodbye as the president. Thank you.
And now the President of the International Criminal Court, Laith Khouri.
Your Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint al-Hassan, Madam Secretary General, Deputy Secretary Generals, AMMUN Leadership and Secretariat, my fellow student officers, and of course, honorable delegates. My name is Laith Al-Khouri, the President of the International Criminal Court at AMMUN XX. Being a student officer at AMMUN in the midst of COVID kept us all on the hook, not knowing whether or not the conference will proceed. But I can say that with all confidence, thanks to the AMMUN leadership, we were able to make the best out of a difficult situation. The ICC at AMMUN is a simulation of the International Criminal Court, in which 2 teams of advocates, the prosecution and defense, have worked to present stipulations, evidence, and examine witnesses before a team of judges over the course of the conference to showcase and defend their arguments. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the verdict of the case. In the matter of the prosecutor versus Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, the defendant Saif Islam has been found, drumroll please, guilty of the crimes at hand. Congratulations to the prosecution and hard luck to the defense. A huge thanks goes to my president, deputy president and chair, Omar Anbana, as well as my admin, Adine Salah. And thank you everyone for your time.
And now the President of the International Court of Justice, Ma'in Ittel.
Your Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint al-Hassan, Secretary General and the esteemed leadership team, honored guests, fellow presidents and chairs, and of course, my advocates, judges, and all the other delegates of AMMUN. I could not be prouder of the delegates of the ICJ. Over the last 3 days, I have witnessed all of you working harder than delegates in any other conference I have ever been to. Whether it be the advocates reading and rereading their work outside our room, or our judges, with which I had some of our deepest debates. Honestly, what you did was beyond impressive. On top of all that, you still managed to have an incredible time while maintaining the professionality and standards expected of ITJ delegates. I won't forget the constant confusion of having to specify which Judge Fahum we were referring to, or asking our witness what their last tweet was. Before I announce the winner of the case, I'd like to thank my utterly fantastic chair, Yasmin. I would have been so lost if it hadn't been for you keeping track of every judge, every advocate, and every witness. I wouldn't know where I'd be if it weren't for you. I have so many more people to thank. Leadership and Ustaz Majid, head of AMMUN, for putting all of this together, our photographers for taking the most flattering photos, and our admin staff who babysitted our advocates when we were deliberating with the judges. Well, I can see our advocates holding their breath since I began the speech. You can stop worrying now. Both teams were incredible, but in the end, we had to choose a winner, and after a long and hard deliberation session, the court found the Republic of Colombia guilty. Congratulations to the winning team, and hard luck to the other delegates. Thank you so much for making this one of my favorite conferences.
Thank you, student officers, for embarking on this wonderful journey with us. Now, may the House please come to order. Now I would like to welcome our organizing team.
Oh, what a feeling. Look what we've overcome. Oh, I'm gonna wave my flag and count all the reasons we are the champions. There ain't no turning back. Saying, oh, can't you taste the feeling? Saying, oh, we are together singing. Look how far we come now. There's beauty in our unity we found. I'm ready. We still got a long way, but look how far we come now. Hands up for your colors. Ready the people, a new day has just begun, and I wear my colors on my back. We created equal, one race and that's human. Can't wait till they all see dance. Saying, oh, can't you taste the feeling? Saying, oh, we all together singing. Look how far we come now. There's beauty in our unity we found. I'm ready. We still got a long way, but look how far we come now. Hands up for your colors.
Thank you, organizers. Now, please put your hands together for our rapporteurs, O Najdawi and Faris Nabilsi.
Your Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint al-Hassan, Madam Secretary General, Deputy Secretary Generals, fellow leadership team members, AMMUN directors, esteemed guests, and of course delegates. To acknowledge that this is my very last AMMUN experience leaves me in disbelief. I started my AMMUN journey around 4 years ago as an 8th grader who wasn't so sure he wanted to follow through with AMMUN. Yet today I can say that I'm very, very glad that I chose to follow through. My experience with AMMUN this year was a bit different for a particular reason. As somebody who has been a part of the debate branch for in AMMUN ever since I was in the 8th grade as a delegate, then a chair, and then a deputy president, having a role in leadership for organizing this year was a challenging but very exciting turn. Despite that, my experiences definitely equipped me with the necessary skills to excel at this role this year. Due to the pandemic's unpredictability, organizing this conference from scratch was a very rocky road, loaded with unpredictability and plan Bs. Making plans for whether this conference would be online and then plans for whether it would be in person was definitely not easy. As you all know, the conference ended up being hybrid, which was a perfect opportunity for delegates all around the world, regardless of their circumstances or what country they were in, to partake in AMMUN XX. This year's theme was accountability for stability, and watching you delegates debate through in your different forums, different topics about this theme, helped me realize how you truly brought this theme to life. It is said that accountability is a measure of a leader. And after exploring this theme so thoroughly all throughout the conference, I find this an inspiring quote to stick by, and I call on all of you to stick by it as well. I would like to start off by thanking our Secretary General, Ghanad Abbas, and our Deputy Secretary General of Organizing, who worked very close with Jad Layous. Your amazing leadership has been one of a kind, and your ability to dodge any obstacles that came our way was a definite factor in this conference's success. I cannot forget to thank our head organizers, Nadia and Farah, whose continuous creativity and dedication to this conference have made it stand out from any others. I would also like to thank the debate team of this leadership, our Deputy Secretary General Karma, Heads of Training Tara and Ra'id, and fellow rapporteur Faris Nabilsi. Your continuous efforts all throughout the conference and during the planning process have been clearly demonstrated through the excellent quality of debate that was enjoyed by all delegates this year. I feel like I must give credit as well and thank this year's organizers, especially those who I've worked most closely with. Without you, so many of the achievements and successes that were found at AMMUN wouldn't have happened in the first place, such as the ability to hold the first ever hybrid conference in AMMUN's history. Last but definitely not least, a big thank you to our biggest supporter and the backbone of this conference, Mr. Majid Makhamri, for the determination, the drive, and the passion that you have had for AMMUN this year and every other year. Thank you.
Your Royal Highness, Princess Sumaya bint al-Hassan, honorable guests, esteemed presidents, and fellow delegates. I can't believe that this is the last time I get to say this in AMMUN. From being a delegate who did not know how to correctly pronounce the name of his country, to being part of this special group of people. AMMUN has been a vital part of my life. It has changed so much about me, my chosen career, my future, and my interests. In front of me today, I see a group of special delegates. I see the next successful lawyer, politician, and saviors of our future. Over the past 3 days, I've witnessed debates at some of the highest levels, and it sparked hope in me for our country. I would like to thank a special group of individuals who have played a huge role in reaching where we are today. Firstly, Ra'id Alami. My best friend, my go-to man. Thank you for being my #1 on this journey. Tara, you're the most random yet serious person I know. Thank you for always being there for me. Farah, for listening to me blabbering for listening to me blabbering on about F1 for hours, and handling me on the first day. Nadia, for being the kindest person I know. Your determination is what got us to the end. Jad, for being the working maniac that I can proudly call my friend. You never failed to impress me with your integrity and grit. I don't know how we could have done this without you. Karma, for leading us during these difficult situations, for sticking up for this conference, this team, and what is right. I would have never imagined this group of individuals to become this close, but life works in mysterious ways, and I'm forever grateful for that. I also want to thank our head of crisis, Zaid Zabane. My right-hand man, you've helped me so much during this conference and was there when I needed you. Ghina and Own, and everyone else who worked behind the scenes, thank you. I also need to thank my older sister. You have encouraged me to start MUN, pushed me to continue MUN, and the reason I am standing here before you. To the first timer that felt lost at some point, to the delegate that felt like they could have done more, trust me, I've been there. And I can assure you that the journey starts today and will end blissfully, and that there is no limit to your potential. Before I leave, I want to thank my idols. While you aren't physically with me today, I know that you are watching this, and I hope that I am making you proud every day. And for the last time, the delegate yields the floor back to Raed.
And now I would like to invite my fellow head of training, Tara Tell, to join me on the podium to give our closing remarks.
Your Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint al-Hassan, esteemed board members, Madam Secretary General, Mr. Deputy Secretary General, Madam Deputy Secretary General, and fellow leadership, student officers, organizers, delegates, and guests. Something that our theme at this conference iterates and translates into our responsibility as the leadership team is that accountability is arguably the cornerstone of leadership. President Harry S. Truman had a sign on his desk that read, "The buck stops here," derived from the slang phrase, "pass the buck," which meant passing the responsibility onto someone else. This sign meant that he accepted accountability for all his decisions of his administration. Truman's stand exists in organizations today, but unfortunately as the exception as opposed to the rule. With a lack of accountability, even the most well-intended and astute leaders will struggle to reach their goals. The humanitarian, economic, and social crisis that plagues Lebanon today was discussed in our special committee, the Institutional Corruption Panel, where delegates delved deeper into the root causes of the ongoing crisis and ultimately saw that a lack of accountability shook the foundation of stability in Lebanon, triggering the series of ill-fated events that fell upon the nation. And in our leadership team, we recognized that accountability was an integral part of running a productive team. And true to our conference's theme, we never failed to keep one another in check over the course of the taxing process of planning the conference.
Hi. Our theme, accountability for stability, isn't just 3 random words we came up with because it rhymes. For many people, it's a way of life. Holding others accountable for what they do is a pathway to making change. Merriam-Webster defines accountability as an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility for one's actions. In this day and age, the masses have come together through social media in order to hold people accountable for as many things as they can. But personally, have you ever held anyone accountable? Have you ever held your parents accountable? Your teachers? Now how about an official? Now how about the system? As you all know, holding others accountable takes courage, bravery, and sacrifice. But the first step to holding others accountable is holding yourself accountable. Making others accept responsibility for certain actions isn't genuine unless you do the same. It's easy to be angry at others, but to accept responsibility for your own actions takes a special kind of honesty and bravery. And through AMMUN, I was able to hold myself accountable for my own weaknesses, which has been one of the best ways for me to grow as a person. I came to AMMUN in grade 8 as a lazy, lanky kid who just wanted to do an extracurricular. Through my first conference, my eyes opened to so many topics I've never heard of before. And I realized that the frustration I felt towards the laziness and selfishness of a few leaders and their inability to make change and evolve is But laziness, selfishness, and ability to make change are all qualities I had. So how could I hold others accountable for this issue when I myself have it? This is why I hold AMMUN so dear to my heart. Through AMMUN, I got out of my bubble, and I began to understand many aspects of life that I never did before. It made me grow. It also taught me how to change and how to make change, how to speak, how to be confident in myself. Even more than that, it told me that through not changing, I'm being complicit in what I hate the most. Being the change you want to see in the world is not just a corny phrase, but it is a value that every person hoping for change should uphold. I need you all to remember that everyone has unlimited potential. I hope you tap into yours. You hear this a lot, but it's true. You are the ones who will make change in the world. You are the future. You will hold people and systems accountable for their mistakes, and I hope that AMMUN gave you the tools to do so, like it did for me. Be the change you want to see in the world and make us proud.
This conference could not have been pulled off without the efforts from each and every member of our leadership team. First of all, thank you to our Madam Secretary General, who kept us motivated when the going got tough and reminded us to take a step back from whatever crisis we were dealing with and keep our composure.
Now, a thank you to our organizing team. Our Deputy Secretary General of Organizing, Jad Layous, Head Organizers Farah Masadi, and Nadia Hamdan, and Rapporteur Aoun Najdawi.
Jad, despite all the panic and over-caffeination that went into the planning process of this conference, ultimately, you pulled it off.
Thank you for the days, weeks, and months you put into this conference. We're all extremely grateful. Nadia, you put blood, sweat, and tears into this conference too, and your hard work paid off. Now you can officially go back to attending your lessons.
Farah, you kept us optimistic when stress levels were peaking, and we are all grateful for that.
Aoun, thank you a lot for your hard work. I think a lot of the delegates here would have gone badgeless if it weren't for you. You can finally turn off the printer now.
Now, a very warm and special thank you to our own debate team. Our Deputy Secretary General of Debates, Karmal Alul, and Repertoire Faris Nabilsi. Words do not suffice in expressing my gratitude towards both of you, and Raed. Karma, I'm so glad to have had you by my side throughout this tough but ultimately rewarding journey. Your drive was something that inspired us all.
You've been someone we can always count on, and one of the hardest workers we know. You always held us together when it was rough. Maybe now you can finally sleep before 2 a.m. Thank you for everything.
Faris, your passion and ability to always speak your mind always pushed us to work harder. Your work was truly appreciated.
The amount of effort you put into this conference is admirable to say the least. You inspired us, and especially me, more than you realize. You are one of the main reasons this conference ran smoothly. Thank you for all that you've done.
Debate team, all the chaos leading up to this weekend aside, we came out on the other side united.
We couldn't have asked for a better team.
Last but definitely not least, I want to express my sincerest gratitude to my fellow head of training, Raed Al-Alami. I could not have done it without you. Our dynamic as co-heads is truly unrivaled, and I could not have asked for a better partner.
And of course, a special thank you to my fellow head of training, Taurat Tel. You have worked extremely hard, and you all appreciate it more than you think. On a serious note, I really, really hope The Hague accepts you back with open arms. Naturally, none of this would have been possible without our MUN director, Mr. Majid Makhamri. Thank you for always guiding us through our highs and lows. We hope that we were able to make you proud.
I'd like to conclude by saying that arguably the most gratifying part of this experience was seeing our chairs and presidents take the reins of their committees. Our training truly did pay off.
To say that we're proud is an understatement. Your growth in the past few months has been huge, and I couldn't ask for better student officers. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now I would like to welcome our head organizers, Nadia Hamdan and Farah Masadi to give their closing remarks. Head organizers, the floor is yours.
Your Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint al-Hassan, esteemed board members, Madam Secretary General, Madam Deputy Secretary General, Mr. Deputy Secretary General, heads, student officers, organizers, delegates, and guests.
The youth is often mistaken as powerless. However, in our current time, we have proven ourselves to be more than just capable. We, as students, are often referred to as the future, the builders of our society. Yet, those claims are frequently contrasted when we are told our time is yet to come. Today, we demonstrate to you with palpable evidence the power the juvenile generation owns, the abilities we have, the creative routes we take, and the different strengths we hold. Although our generation has been brought up differently, we can assure you that different is not another synonym to bad, yet the mere contrary. Without the diversity present in our generations, we wouldn't have been able to achieve accountability for stability.
At the beginning of the year, we were all daunted by the seismic affairs that took place this past year. A conference taking place in person was unimaginable. However, with the persistence of such a strong team, we were capable of achieving the unachievable. The first AMMUN hybrid conference with students participating both online and in person. The late nights that passed, the 5-hour meeting calls, and the divisive decisions that were taken were all reflected in these past 3 days. This year, the traction was focused on accountability for stability, a theme that solely demonstrates the challenges our world faces in the interim.
Ministers aware of the presence of ammonium nitrate in the center of a capital should be held accountable. A government unequally distributing vaccines should be held accountable. And certainly, individuals promoting slave labor, gender inequality, and all types of discrimination should be held accountable. Accountability is intrinsic to achieve stability, and every individual is capable of so. Simply apologize for your mistakes. Admit to your failures and be honest with yourself and those around you. You are all capable of achieving accountability for stability.
At the beginning of my MUN journey, I never imagined myself to be able to stand here in front of you all and speak as a head organizer. I started off as a photographer, shying away behind the camera. I eventually was able to become the head of media, and today stand in front of you as the head organizer. AMMUN has taught me to manage my time, lead with conviction, and most importantly, work efficiently on my problem-solving skills. Without it, I wouldn't have been the person I am today.
My AMMUN journey was slightly different than all others. I was lucky to experience both debate and organizing aspects. My journey started off as the delegate of Switzerland in the Environmental Commission. Reluctant to defend my view on climate change, the confidence and enthusiasm my first experience gave me allowed me to become a chair, president, and finally a head organizer. Through my MUN experiences, I gained knowledge about transnational issues, different perspectives, and learned how to manage my time and improve my communication skills.
On behalf of Farah and I would firstly like to thank our sponsors for the generous contributions. We would also like to thank every single delegate, organizer, student officer, and every participant taking part in AMMUN XX. And of course, every member of the leadership team. Although we had some chaotic moments, I'm sure no other team would have been able to pull this off. Aoun, thank you for solving our last-minute issues. Faris, Ra'ad, and Tara, thank you for always bringing your positive attitude everywhere you go. Karma, although you were on the other side of the team, we appreciate you always being on standby and showing us what it's like to be a team player. Most importantly, Jad, our DSG, thank you for your endless support and patience. Your determination and organization was what helped us pull this off, and we couldn't ask for a better DSG. Lastly, Madam SG, Mr. Majid, thank you for your guidance and optimism. Without you, this wouldn't have been possible.
We would also like to thank Ms. Kathy, Ms. Basma, all teachers and staff members for their endless support and leniency. I hope that after this weekend, you all perceive the youth as builders of the present and not the future.
We are proud of everyone for their hard work and success through this conference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to welcome our Deputy Secretary General, Jad Layous. Mr. Deputy Secretary General, the floor is yours.
Your Royal Highness, Princess Sumaya bint al-Hassan, Madam Secretary General, Madam Deputy Secretary General, fellow Secretariat, honorable board members, esteemed guests, and lastly, delegates. The hour has struck, and we have reached the final hours of the 20th annual AMMUN Model United Nations. Through the energy and passion you have shown within these 3 days, I have seen you be smart. You have proved that you truly are considerate. You have worked hard and you have showed great courage, delegates. You have mastered the ordeal of lobbying and debating and have embodied the theme of our conference this year. But now, reality awaits you. And as a generation, we must remember to deal with politics as not only the exercise of power, but the exercise of justice. Remember that your voice is your own and it's unbound in its potential. Discover your capacity for change, for every delegate that has passed through these channels contains within them a great breadth of knowledge, capabilities far beyond what you can even imagine. You possess great power, delegates, and our ever-developing world has provided you with the position to use this power to better yourselves and the world. So maintain passion in all that you do. Steer away for apathy, as it will be the end of us, and yearn to shape history rather than be passively shaped by it. This brings me to those that have shaped this conference and made it possible. And the student officers, admin staff, and security, along with our organizers, I am eternally proud of all the effort you have put into this conference. You represented the team with such grace. I could have never dreamt of how well you allowed this conference to turn out. Nadia and Farah, my head organizers. Nadia, you dealt with constant cancellations, last-minute changes, and the longest to-do list. Thank you for your ever-ending patience with me. You are a literal miracle worker. Your headstrong attitude is what allowed this level of perfection of all the different aspects of this conference. Here's to calling you on the phone and not talking about AMMUN for once. Farah, thank you for always having my back with my anxious self. I truly couldn't have done it without you. A friend is one who believes in you even when you have ceased to believe in yourself. Tara, Raid, and Faris, you have been the literal voice of our conference, whether through arguments or agreements. Faris, the ever-positive force within us, starting your sentences with, "This is not to ease your ego, but..." Well, guess what? It did. Raid, the funniest person I know. You know exactly how and when to make me laugh. You never fail to lighten up the mood when tensions are at an all-time high between Karma and I. And Tara, my other half, my telepathic twin. You complete me in ways in which no one could ever imagine. You have been by my side whenever I need you through the hardest times. Ghina and Aoun, your outstanding work together has allowed the success of the forums that hosted all our international and local delegates. I couldn't have pictured a better team to work with. Thank you for never giving up on me. And Karma, my DSG, my backbone, my partner in crime. We have climbed up the AMMUN ladder together from beginning to end, and I couldn't imagine spending my final moments with anyone else. You have supported me and pushed me to be the best version of myself. Thank you. Thank you. I am beyond grateful. You have been by my side, towering over me through thick and thin. A month ago today, I didn't even know if it was possible for all of you to even be here. That being said, successfully hosting AMMUN's first ever hybrid conference has been truly the greatest honor one can hold. Sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. With this, I would also like to show my gratitude towards Ustaz Majid. Thank you for allowing us to make our own decisions and fix our own mistakes, but for also allowing us to being there to advise us and watch over us. I can't even begin to count the times you told us there's no such thing as time management, but priority management. My personal journey with AMMUN ends here. However, I will always carry with me 5 years worth of successes and failures, 5 years of late nights and hard work, 5 years of delegates, resolutions, and debate. But this is where I, along with the vast majority of you, begin to embark on our journey past simulations and models. And it reassures me that this wave of globalized, well-spoken, intellectual individuals will continue their battle for justice and equality, promote acceptance and development, and fight towards accountability for stability. Thank you.
May the House please come to order. And now, please allow me to welcome our Deputy Secretary General, Korma Alul. Madam Deputy Secretary General, the floor is yours.
Your Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint al-Hassan, Madam Secretary General, Mr. Deputy Secretary General, fellow Secretariat, esteemed guests, and leaders of the future. David Gamal said, "The purpose of debate is to explore issues, not end them." Well, no offense to David Gamal, but in my 5 years at AMMUN, I learned that the purpose of debate is to not only explore issues, but to solve them. Through your exploration of the conference topics, you found a solution, an effective mean of dealing with global issues. You found an X to these issues. But you also found an A to Z. And for that, I commend you all. Despite our commitment to success in these areas, I want to take a few minutes to talk about failure instead. In a world where people can become internet sensations overnight, there's no such thing as instantaneous success. I want you to focus on the process, which, although might involve disappointment, will ultimately lead us to triumph. Because the goal is worth the lessons we learn in failure. Our lives are characterized by this pattern. And for that, I hope that you all value your growth throughout the conference, whether it came from prompt victory or involved imperfection. Nonetheless, in the future, and even now, I urge you to move beyond the model. Take initiative in your local community. Then, locomote beyond your borders. And when you do, take this experience with you and let it help guide you to your goals. My X for this conference could not have been possible without the support of the student officers and, of course, my fellow secretariat. Tara, aka Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the debate team's harmonizer both literally and figuratively. Your wise and composed voice is 1 in a million. Raid, aka Conan O'Brien, very Harvard material, extremely funny, you always manage to lighten up the mood. Faris, aka Usain Bolt, running around any and everywhere with your wit and problem-solving approaches, I can't but proclaim you ahead of training. You are an essential part of our team. As you can see, our team is made of Supreme Court judges, renowned comedians, and record-breaking athletes. Although peculiar, this mix of personalities could not have been more ideal. Debate team, it's been my honor to work with you. Organizing team, I can gladly assure that you pulled it off. Farah, your enthusiasm and poise set the tone for professionalism. Aoun, I highly appreciate you keeping my prized Excel sheets neat. Thank you. Nadia, thank you for keeping up with each one of my picky comments. Your perseverance for perfection is unmatched. Of course, thank you to our Secretary General and AMMUN Director. Your work together is highly valued. Last, but definitely not least, my partner, Mr. Deputy Secretary General, Jad, aka my right-hand man. I cannot begin to express my pride in being your parallel. We have developed crazy habits throughout this journey, one of them being impulsively eating to cope with the enthralling preparations for AMMUN XX. But I can safely say that with every kilogram gained, we learned and we grew, and it was all worth it. Maybe we should have a celebratory meal after this. And with that, it's my greatest honor to see AMMUN XX come to a close. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming our Secretary General Ghanet Abbas. The floor is yours.
Your Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint al-Hassan, esteemed board members, Madam and Mr. Deputy Secretary Generals, fellow leadership team, student officers, organizers, guests, and last but certainly not least, delegates of AMMUN XX. A young generation poised to save the world has worked against all odds over the past 3 days, stepping into adulthood and power amid a global pandemic and other crises. When I categorize you, me, and all of us combined as Generation Z, we face the criticism surrounding this name. Generation Z is often labeled as challenging, confusing, and explicitly different. In fact, some people argue that the technology we have grown up with has shaped a generation of followers and not leaders, and also a generation capable of only engaging itself in trivial pursuits. AMMUN XX, however, has completely proved this argument to be untrue. As the conference comes to a close, technology has helped us create and host AMMUN's first ever hybrid conference. And delegates, I have watched you all use this platform to tackle not trivial pursuits, but instead some of the world's most dire issues. Rather than followers, you have acted as young leaders who, through your heated debates and high-quality resolutions, have left your mark on not only this conference, but on the rest of the world as well. Delegates, I would like to thank you all for erasing the stigma surrounding our generation, demonstrating the great potential for us to act as future leaders. You have all shown me and everyone else that Generation Z should not be classified as a negative difference, but as a positive one, where we are vocal, fervent, and dramatically more capable of instigating change than any other generation before us. Our theme, Accountability for Stability, was accurately reflected through your work. And now, I trust that as you exit the doors of this conference, accountability will forever remain at the forefront of your journey. AMMUN XX is the 20th annual AMMUN Model United Nations, which made it an unspoken rule between the leadership team and I that this conference had to be extraordinarily remarkable. Although separated by a screen the first time we met as a team, such a monumental moment in AMMUN history, you joined us together. The start of our leadership team journey was far from ideal. Working from home meant meetings were twice as long and decisions were harder to make. However, as the new school year began and the 9 of us first stepped foot on the school campus, it was unanimously agreed upon between us all that not one moment would be wasted if it meant we weren't working together. I'm pretty sure the rest of our grade can attest to this as well, as we suddenly vanished from all of our classes, and the only place you would find us would be crammed in Ustaz Majid's office with papers and a dozen laptops surrounding us, sitting on either the floor, the pink beanbag, or behind Ustaz Majid's second desk, which we now call ours. Challenges are what make experiences interesting. Overcoming them is what makes them meaningful. With that being said, the past 7 months have been interesting, but the past 3 days have been meaningful. Therefore, to my team, I want to thank you all for helping bring our vision to life. To the head of trainings, head organizers, repertoires, and DSGs, I would like to thank you all for standing by my side throughout this entire conference. I know for a fact that this team and this conference will forever be remembered. And of course, to Ustaz Majid, thank you for your continuous support and guidance. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you, so thank you for believing in us and our far-fetched ideas that I am so glad became a reality. To the student officers and organizers, your work ethic is truly admirable. I am so glad that you all are the individuals that joined the AMMUN XX family. If your work throughout this conference proved anything, it's that the future of AMMUN is bright. I cannot wait to look back in a year or two and see you all thriving as the upcoming AMMUN leadership teams. As the time comes for me to say goodbye to this conference and position, a part of me will always be shaped by the legacy of AMMUN. For the past 5 years, AMMUN has been my second home, my safe place, the place where I can express myself unconditionally and grow as a leader and a person. AMMUN XX in specific has made me stronger as ever in ways you cannot begin to imagine, making it the perfect end to my AMMUN journey. It has been a wonderful 5 years, and I am extremely lucky to have had such a glorious experience, which makes saying goodbye especially hard. I now ask that the rest of my team join me on the podium.
Everyone grab.
And now, standing before you all, I officially announce AMMUN XX as closed.